Hi FlossTube, it's Lee from Creative Lee coming to you with FlossTube number 14 on Sunday the 9th of February 2020. Lovely day today. Summer arrived in February, so we are enjoying a warm day, which means I decided, so that I'm not having this video all hot and sweaty, to put the aircon on, which is worth every penny of the $14,000 upgrade it cost me to put a ducted heat pump into my new build. Just some black tea today. I'm actually feeling a bit peaky. I don't know if I've eaten something that's upset me, but I'm feeling very blah. I stayed with friends last night, had dinner and stayed over while we watched the Australian, what was it? They call it You Decide or something. The Australian decision of which entry will be in Eurovision 2020, which is going to be in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. So my friend Richard loves Eurovision, and I enjoy his company, and we get together every May and we watch Eurovision, which usually, because it's in the European part of the world, tends to be sort of Sunday morning, and we get up. I usually stay over when we get up, and Richard makes breakfast and we have champagne and we watch Eurovision, and I follow Twitter and he follows Reddit, and we just have fun. We have fun, it's a tradition. So yesterday in Australia, the 10 finalists for the Australian entry went through, and we were both happy with the winner, so fingers crossed for Australia. And anyway, it's a thing. It's fun. It's ridiculous, but fun. So, go do these things. So it's basically a tradition. Eurovision's in May, so whoop whoop. And why is Australia in Eurovision? It's complicated. It's all to do with economic membership of some thing that I don't really care about, but it's fun anyway. So this happened. This is my stitching hand, by the way. I hurt my finger a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it was I bashed it, sort of compressed it against the edge of a desk here at home. And it was really sore, but kind of, anyway, fast forward to a couple of weeks, and like last week I was noticing it was getting stuck down, like stuck in this position, and I had to go plonk, and kind of sore through here, absolutely very limited wiggle, very good at gripping but no lifting strength. So the physiotherapist thinks I may have damaged a tendon, or at the very least, something's not working right. So I've got to get an ultrasound. It's a 3-week wait, so I'm on a waiting list to hopefully get earlier. So it's just strapped with a buddy to stop it from doing that and getting stuck. And I've got little exercises to do. I alternate between strapping it to this little one, because the little finger gets sore, I think, carrying the weight, and then strapping it to this one. What does that mean for stitching? Well, where there's a will, there's a way. I've had to modify my approach, but I've still managed to get quite a bit of stitching done. It's not that sore, it's more just that it's really weak and gets stuck. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's stuck, and it hurts when it gets stuck. Ridiculous. So it does seem to be a lot better. So I've had it strapped since Monday, and I've been doing my exercise since Monday. So maybe it's on the mend just through resting it and doing the little exercises. So hopefully I haven't done any permanent damage, and it's bruised or whatever, slightly torn, not fully ruptured. Who knows? I tend to damage tendons and ligaments, so it's just like, yay, finger, great. But I was a bit worried it might slow me down, because I had it because I'm at the tail end of a 4-day weekend. Thursday was Waitangi Day, so a public holiday, and I took Friday off. I really played the hermit card, and apart from grabbing a coffee with a friend on Thursday and then running a few errands on Friday, I did spend a significant amount of time stitching and watching various bits and pieces, finishing off things on telly that I hadn't seen. But I did put my Quaker Seasons of Friendship away for a bit of a break because, okay, this is really funny, because I needed a break because of the 40 count. So I'm like, okay, and I knew my new start was coming up, which is on 40 count. So I was like, I'll put that away for a break and give, and what do I pick up? I pick up 1/1 on 28, but it's even weave and it's way easier to see. So I picked up my Carolyn Manning Designs Thistle, which I'm doing 1/1 on Brittany, and a little bit done. It was a bit slow. It was Monday and Tuesday, maybe a bit on Wednesday. It was a bit slow because of my finger, but I got pretty much this little wedge in here, so most of that I got done those couple of days. So that's pretty much where the page ends, I think. So what's that, just shy of half a page, maybe 2/3 of a page. And then I was like, okay, then I put it away because, of course, and that's all I'm called for GMC, of course, 1/1. Because I had my new start on Thursday, my planned new start, which, so 40 count. So night walked down by the blue flower. So this is my February start. And I worked on that on Thursday, so a lot of Thursday, and a little bit and some on Friday, I think, yeah. And it's on 40 count pewter linen from Picture This Plus, and I've got a fat 1/8. And I start at the bottom, I got half the border done. And I just a wee start down here. I had a little bit left on my thread. It's a lot of stitching in that border. I like the border. And so I'm just using DMC in the corner. The called for a mixture of threads, some called for, some substituted. I have made a change since the other day when I had thought I would use blue sampler from Victoria Motto for the to replace the seaweed, but it was just too similar to the black. The black is wrought iron by Gast, and so I swapped it for a grey Victoria Motto, which is Victorian grey, which I really like. So I'm kind of being a bit fussy with it because it has some dark strands and some light strands. So in the bottom and top border, at the ends there's sort of 10 little patches of contrast. So I'm using the slightly lighter because the dark again would be too similar to the black. And I'm really liking it. So got half that border done, and I thought, okay, I totally need a break. I really need a break, because having worked on 240 counts and the 1/1 28 count for the last couple of weeks, it was just time for, and with my finger being a bit weird and having to modify my stitch, I thought I should drag out a third whip. And I dragged out the Pilgrim, my long dog sampler, the Pilgrim. Which I am doing with anchor threads and random assortment that I got for $2 from a store, my crappy local needlework store that was stocking anchor threads. So I bought several skeins of dark brown, which is 00381. So that's the kind of base colour, and then the other colours were all from this random grab bag. So stitching on 36 count linen from Picture This Plus Legacy, and the anchor floss started in August. So because I like to get things finished within a year, I plan to finish this by August. So given that, I dragged it out, and here we are to date. I'm actually really liking it. I wasn't sure when I'd started, because I'm like, those colours are so random, but that like anything you sprinkle enough through, you know, because they're quite weird. Like the pink of that flamingo is weird with that shade of orange with the foxes, and I've got, you know, several different shades of grey beigey colours. So what I get done, I pretty much am finished almost half. I worked a lot in here, of this section here. I only had a couple little bits done here. I filled in all of the sprinkles and things up to, like, I haven't done the little greenery down here. So, but pretty much from there, it's done. Everything's done, and I'm just, yeah, working my way down the second half. So, it's quite awkward to show. I swapped the whiskers out on the rat. Sorry, Katie. Weird little things, called the sprinkles, all the little flowers and bugs and little bits and bobsies. Kind of done some various, couple of wee specialty stitches here and there where it makes sense, in centres of flowers and things. I think that those flowers there have got eyelets, Nigerian eyelets. Yeah. So that has come along, and with all the little bits and pieces, excuse me, with all the little bits and pieces, it's really filled it out and given it a little nice texture and stuff, so I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, so quite a bit of stitching this week, which has been quite good because the last couple of weeks have been a bit pants, so I'm very happy with my long dog. I am looking forward to when I do my next long dog and going back to the more kind of mono, maybe with a contrast, but with the silk and stuff, because it is nice when you've got so much stitching. It is really nice to stitch with silk. It's a lot, you know, just get less friction. It's smoother, and but I'm really liking the Pilgrim way more now than when I first started, and I was like, why did I do all the colours? And now I'm like, I really like it, and I'm glad I picked the Legacy because it's quite warm and, you know, dirty kind of. I mean, it's that whole thing. It's a pilgrim on a dusty path, I guess. I expect, yeah. So really happy with it, and looking forward to. Yeah, I think I can totally finish it by August. It's all about just spending time on it. So those are the 3 whips. I have in a new start, obviously, with my night walk down. And next time I pick that up, I'll finish the border. I'll just get all that done, and then I can start doing all the pretty things in the middle. I don't have any other starts planned, although I always reserve the right to pull something out. I mean, planned in the next few weeks. You know, I've got a couple of small scraps, and you know, might pull something out and do something really quick. I don't know. I've got no haul, nothing ordered, nothing. I did on Friday take some time to sit down and look at the next sort of 3 or 4 things that I might want to start, and I think I mentioned them last week, and then went through and did some analysis of the various colours and like where a chart might call for weeks or what's this one? It's CC? Not Colour and Cotton, the other one. Used to, anyway. Fancy Floss, and you know, have a wee look at what symbol appears, you know, cast your eye over the chart and kind of go, okay, a particular shade of something appears for, you know, a handful of stitches in some windows or in a tiny little piece of clothing on a little character or something. So I'm like, you know, no, not buying that. And just working out what I need to buy, I guess, to kit various things up. So I've got notes written down and a couple where I'm just thinking what fabric I would want. The Eurovision thing didn't finish till about 1:30. Because it was in Queensland in Australia, so that they're 3 hours behind us, and it started 7:30 their time. So it started 10:30 for us, and then I think they went to vote at about 12:15. And there's like half an hour or so for the voting, and then some, you know, blah blah blah. So I'm just tired, a bit tired. So yeah, I've got got my notes written down for, you know, in preparation for my next floss order, I guess, which, you know, will be in sometime maybe at the end of February. I'll put through an order for some stuff. I thought I would insert my videos quite quick. I do have one little previous finish to show, which is tiny and not that exciting, but is cute. But I thought I'd just insert a section called Random Q&A. So I thought I'd just in case, you know, there are new people here, in case people haven't watched all of my videos, I might just start weekly doing a question or two about me and my stitching and stuff like that. So I thought I'd just do a wee random, list a little bit about me and my family today. So my name's Lee. I grew up in the Bay of Plenty, which is up in the middle, I guess the top half of the North Island of New Zealand. Whakatane particular, and went to university in Hamilton, and then ended up getting a job with the bank after I realised I didn't want to be a school teacher, because I liked English wasn't necessarily the best reason to be a school teacher. Thanks for the great careers advice. And ended up working for one of the big banks in New Zealand, transferred down to Wellington, to our capital city in 1999, and I've been here ever since, so this is definitely my home. I think I've lived in Wellington, 21 years now, so I think 28th of February is when I flew down. So yeah, it'll be 21 years this year. So worked for the bank for a number of years, and then got into testing, then moved to government, and now work as a project manager, so mostly IT projects, or I should say projects with a IT component, but mostly I do work on more behind the scenes infrastructure, network, working on cloud migration strategy and implementation stuff at the moment, which is a little bit new for me, which means it's a good challenge. But I love working in the IT space. I get to work with a lot of really smart people. I like, you know, clever, networky people who manage to join all the bits and pieces together, even though it's not like I can do it, but I enjoy working with the people and my job as a project manager is to remove roadblocks and hopefully anticipate risks and manage issues and hopefully deliver successful outcomes. And project manager's role is largely the conductor of the orchestra, and yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy the working with the really smart people, and I enjoy the challenge. It is really hard work though, as in it's really mentally hard. I sometimes just end up completely drained, which is where cross stitch is great because it's totally out of my head, and you've got to count, and you get into a rhythm, and it's pretty and tactile, and it's like the complete opposite of my job, which the irony being that I really love to over plan the project. I enjoy the planning of the project, so the organising and the planning and the but I enjoy the stitching is so not my job, and I really enjoy it. It's the tactile nature of it is really important, and then at the end you get pretty things put on the wall. I sold my first home that I co-owned. We sold that about 5 years ago now, and then I had intended to build. I really wanted to build my own house, and I thought it would be quicker. And then land is difficult to find in this area in New Zealand, in any of the built up areas in New Zealand really. And a friend was building, had got a section in Wallaceville in Upper Hutt, and I'd been mentioned to her I couldn't find a section. She said, "Oh, you need to get on this list." I got on a list, and a section came back on the market where a previous purchaser a deal had fallen through, or I don't know, whatever. So I got it I basically grabbed it. The funny thing is that my friend lives across the road from me. So if we drive out of my driveway and across the road into a long driveway, she's in a right of way down a back section. So we can't see each other's houses. There's a house between us, but it's quite funny where that we ended up just like really close. So finally got to build my home. It's not a massive home. It's probably just about the smallest house in the block where I live, but it's mine. It's I designed it. I have a big central office craft room with double bifold doors that open up onto my lounge, so I can be in there and I can have my slider open with the fresh air. I can have music playing. It's the center of my home, and nice big kitchen, a really big bathroom, the massive bath. Like I built, it's just, but it's only a 2-bedroom home. So I built kind of like a big house, but with only 2 bedrooms because I don't have children. I love having the spare room to have guests or family stay. But I don't need 3 or 4 bedrooms. But I have 2 bathrooms. I have a toilet, a guest toilet, and I have a bathroom with a toilet. So again, kind of a luxury. But so I finally built my house. I love it. I'm enjoying the fact that now I can envision where things will go on the wall. I've had things, that I've stitched and other pieces of art that I haven't had framed, that I've had in storage for a long time until I know the wall or walls these things are going to go on. And I'm enjoying kind of knowing now that I have somewhere to put things. So anyway, so I've got one sister. My younger sister Megan, lives in Queensland, Australia with her second husband, and she's still got 2 of her kids at home, although they're young adults now. My niece is looking at deciding what she wants to do. She's 18. My youngest nephew's just started a apprenticeship, but he and his partner are saving money and thinking about the future. He doesn't want to until he has a permanent, full-time job, he's staying at home because, while you're on apprenticeship, you're not guaranteed work, I guess. My older nephew moved over to Australia a few years ago. He used to live with his dad in New Zealand, and he and his partner are now looking at moving out on their own and doing the adult thing. Both the boys are in their mid-20s. I have 2 stepbrothers. Blair lives in Auckland with his wife and my niece, and he's the same age as my sister. They're 2 years younger than me, and Mark is about another 18 months younger. He lives in Christchurch. He's separated from his wife, and who is Japanese, and his ex and my other niece, his daughter, they've been living in Japan for a bit, but I think that my niece Yuki wants to come back to New Zealand to go to high school. I haven't actually seen Mark. I haven't seen the boys for a little while, other than through social media and stuff, because they live so far away and everyone's got lives and it's really hard. My dad still lives in the Bay of Plenty in Kawerau. He's 75 and had some real health issues last year. And he's waiting to get a triple bypass and a replacement valve. So he's sort of knocked him a bit. He also damaged his shoulder, so he can't have shoulder surgery until he's had the heart surgery. So he's feeling a bit wrecked at the moment, but he's getting by. He had to put my stepmother into care last year because she has advanced Alzheimer's, and it's just awful. So my stepmother and the boys we've all been a family since, I don't know, the early 80s. So my dad and my stepmother have been married over 30 years now. And it's just sad to see my stepmom lose her personality over the last few years. Dad said she's really struggling now to eat and can't follow instructions, and it's quite sad. He still goes to see her most days. She still recognises him a little bit sometimes, but mostly not, and it's just, But I'm glad I'm glad she went into care, because she was getting really tricky to look after, and poor Dad was, with his health declining, he just wasn't able to, I think if she hadn't gone into care, it might have killed him, because he just was not getting enough rest and not able to look after himself. So that's my family. Hoping to get over to see my sister this year. I let my passport expire last year because I didn't have plans to travel, and I need to get my passport sorted in the next couple of months. I think I want to go over in August for a week. So about stitching, I started stitching in the late 80s. One of my aunts taught my sister and I how to cross stitch when we were probably 7, 8, 9. And she gave us some gingham. We made tablecloths on gingham, and we used the squares on the gingham fabric to do a pattern. So you'd stitch across in one of the squares, so let's say the white or the black, and then so I'd had that tablecloth for years, but I finally donated it a few years ago. It was just a nostalgia piece. And then I did some tapestries, so what's that called? Needlepoint, but they were tapestries. So I did a Pierrot, the clown with the teardrop, the French clown. Did that and some other pieces in the 80s, and then I picked up counted cross stitch, I think around 1988, 1989. I know that I took a piece with me to university for my first year, was in 1990, and I stitched on that. I remember I had to restart it because I completely cocked it up. It was real confetti, and I just miscounted, and anyway, I know that the first piece I ever stitched I restarted. So, and then I sold it a number of years later. I sold it, it's 2 little kittens in a window with purple flowers around. It was very, very sweet, but just not my cup of tea at all. So I sold that on, and yeah, someone else hopefully did something with it. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah, live on my own, love it most of the time. I need a lot of I need quite a bit of I need time to myself to recharge. I am social, but I hate socializing. So the very act of being with lots of people, like at work, the days where I have meeting after meeting after meeting, or engagement after engagement, with no desk time, no time to just digest and to recharge, I get absolutely exhausted and I come home drained. And sometimes I get home from work and I just have to go and lie down for half an hour, not necessarily to sleep, like I'm not sleeping, but it's almost like I have to get into a little bubble of protection and pull the duvet over my head and just have quiet and just not be around people. And so I do enjoy solitary pursuits, probably far too much. I'm very comfortable with my own company. That being said, I try really hard to make sure I don't go total hermit, because I have done that in the past in periods of my life, especially when might have been suffering with mental health, depression, anxiety and what have you, for periods in my life where I found it very easy to shut down completely and to hide away for apart from going to work, months, and then not accept any invitations or not contact people, and then I sort of have to come out of that cave eventually and go, you know what, I do actually like spending time with people, it's just not all the time and not lots of them. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Anyway, that's pretty much that. It's filled in a bit of a gap. Next week I'm going to do a couple more questions, just looking either people who've commented on things in my FlossTube, or from various tags and things that I see around FlossTube. I'll just answer a few questions. Before I go, I'll just show you a tiny little previous finish. I don't know where I got it from, whether the chart, I don't know if it was from a magazine or a freebie or someone lent me the chart, if it's a known designer. The birds are very blue, but it's just a little wee sampler. It's on 32 count linen, and I could totally have framed this a million times. Like it would fit in a 4x6 frame, right? A cheap frame. But have I? No. Mostly because I had nowhere to put it. Looks like that's 2004 as well. I stitched a lot of these little things in 2004. Mostly I was working at Westpac in testing, and a lady that I worked with, she was a contractor I think, but she did cross stitching and she brought in a whole lot of charts and things for me to look at, and some of them I stitched. But I would borrow it, stitch it and take it back to this would have taken me one night. Took it back to the next day kind of thing, or that weekend, after the weekend. So yeah, cute little sampler. It's good to have some little things, right? Envisioning my future sampler wall where I want to fill in a couple of gaps and a bit of a break from big samplers like the Pilgrim. So it's like complete opposite. Anyway, that's the previous, yeah, so I don't know who it's from, and as I said, just on a 32 count cream linen that I would have had left over from another piece, probably in the called for DMC, possibly some substitutions if I didn't have quite the right colour. It's cute. It makes me want to do some other little samplers because I do enjoy the little samplers. And that's it. That's all I have. I will see you next week, and until then, don't forget, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.